Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Friday afternoon. It's about 1:15 here on the West Coast, and let's recap the day to end off the week. So main indexes were up about close to half a percent. Biden had a press conference today about their stimulus initiative, how much they're planning on doing, talking about unemployment and all the numbers. Markets were up to new all-time highs right after he spoke, kind of sold off afterwards, but it sounds like they're just going to keep printing in the Fed and the Treasury. So I think the markets are just going to keep going up. Might potentially hit all those price targets that Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and others had, the 41, 42, $100 range for the S&P 500 moving forward. So let's start with GameStop here. Just GameStop, AMC. I think this could be their last big bounce. Got it right here in the morning. Quick sell off down to 51. Held it, and then off like a rocket, almost doubling up to 95 before it faded all day. Got a little action here in the last 15 minutes. Popped from 61 to 66. I don't think that there's going to be too much action going on this moving forward. I think next week could be pretty slow. But I also did see, thanks to a text from a friend, that they had some unusual options activities for $800 calls on GameStop up on Wall Street Bets. So some people are still diamond hands and some people are out, but we'll see what happens with GameStop and AMC here. Similar chart pattern, bigger sell-off in the morning, down to about 6.5, 6.53, pops all the way up to $8.20, and then rolls over, fades, but didn't set a new low at the end of the day, and it's still in that last hour, 2 hours, got some positive momentum coming back up. And if you look over here on the right on the daily, we still held that 22 daily moving average, but still a red bar. So looks like this could be curling back down, maybe that $5 range. So we'll see what happens for Monday. Let's go to the biotechs now, the big movers of the week, SAVA and AVXL, AVXL. So both had very similar charts for about the first 2 hours this morning. Pre-market, we had the big pop, 4 a.m. sell-off, sold off down here to about the $48 range. Stair stepper up to about 64, which if you look here on the 15, that was into the 50 and 200 period moving average. But if you look here on the right, we got some resistance around 65 from yesterday as it was falling. Couldn't get over that, and then proceeded to sell off hard. Still selling off right now after hours. If you go to the daily here, I've mentioned that it would pull back into the 9 period moving average. So earlier today when the price was actually above 60, so it does adjust during the day. The bar is actually up in the $46 range, so as it sold off, it continues to change that moving average as it moves lower. So now it's at 43.31. So could potentially push lower. Let's just look at the hourly right here for you. See if there's anything down here in this range. So yeah, it's sitting around $40, maybe $39 to hold long term into next week. AVXL, AVXL, kind of similar pattern, sold off in the morning, and then we got a rise up, but instead of selling off as hard as SAVA did, kind of trade sideways for the rest of the day until the last half hour here. I can see, I mean, maybe a buy area right here as it crossed over moving averages, but I stayed away on the long side of it. The best time to short this would, in my opinion, would have been this morning, probably when I was doing that pre-market video, as we just have descending highs here, and then on the open didn't even threaten it to move higher. So that could have been a pretty easy short this morning that I missed, but there'll be more. And then if you go to the daily, still has some range to fall. Didn't really threaten this $11 1098 high from 2 days ago, so probably look to either have that hold or to test it into next week. First stock I talked about this morning was JG, Aurora Mobile. Huge spike pre-market, just percentage gain wise, and just entirely sold off the entire day. So Interactive Brokers didn't have shares of short, so as soon as it started falling, I just moved it away. And if you look on the right, this huge red candle is pretty ugly. So I don't see it really moving much into next week unless it gets some news or a catalyst. So we'll go to Lizzie, which was a runner this week, and then today take profit. I mentioned yesterday the 94 RSI, take profit for today. Pretty big red candle still. Didn't break the low of yesterday, but hard sell off right off the open down to $11. Kind of trade sideways, just fades all day. Not much action here, and the volume really thinned out compared to the previous days. As you note here, the blue bars on the daily, maybe a third of the volume yesterday and the day before. Let's go to Skills, which was the biggest gainer today. I should have had an alert on this one for breaking the 39.50 high from yesterday, but it basically just took off. Slight dip in the morning and then ripped and then stayed above its moving averages almost all day until pullback at 11 a.m. and still staying high, new all-time highs. They had the news yesterday about a mobile app with the NFL, especially with the Super Bowl. I think that's just great time PR. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have more news come out this weekend about their partnership and maybe even a potential commercial, or who knows what they have in store for the Super Bowl. But this will be interesting going forward. I think it definitely could have legs long term as a company, especially with esports just growing year by year, and it will continue to grow, especially as even with things opening up. But let's go to CCIV. So Churchill Capital Group. So yesterday they pinged off the 25, kind of get this hammer bar, comes up, spikes up to new all-time highs. Today, pretty strong strength all throughout the day. Kind of similar chart to Skills, and then peaked at 10, kind of tried to test it again, and then 11 sold off a little bit into the close of our pullback. So this is still just waiting on that catalyst, whether or not the merger with Lucid is a go, and if it does, it's going to take off like a rocket. If not, might calm down a little bit, but I think it's just going to be trading in this upward channel for a while until news breaks one way or the other. Last, just the earnings play, mentioned Pinterest in the morning. So Pinterest actually kind of sold off pretty hard on the open. I mentioned that in their they had big gap moves the last time they had earnings, except it stayed up. Or excuse me, it was actually here. So big gap up, pulls back, but the time before, big gap up, stayed up. So its earnings are pretty volatile for Pinterest. This was the new all-time high today. So the range really wasn't anything crazy, 7.5%. But when it got this first run back here in October, when it started taking off above its highs from its earnings, it ran on Snapchat earnings, which came out, and then Snapchat today followed in sympathy. It had its earnings yesterday hard too. After hours, kind of sold off, but then it just pressed higher to new all-time highs. Similar revenue model. I guess they're liking the ad revenue that they're getting from both companies and expecting the future numbers to grow quite a bit. I didn't really look at Snap much today. I have it on my watch list over here. Some tech companies that I do watch occasionally, but it was pretty healthy all day. One pullback to touch the 15 mid-market days, and then closing up at high. So really strong strength. RSI is still not in the overbought range, so this could move higher into next week. So those are all the stocks I plan on talking today. On Friday, I'm trying different things with the thumbnail, all the SEO, all that good stuff you can do on YouTube. Trying to figure it out, learn new stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Right? What thumbnails you guys have liked the best so far? What's catching your eyes? A lot of people are watching on mobile. I think it's like 80% of the people are watching on their phones. Are these 4 charts too small? Should it just be one? I did that occasionally on the first one. Right, if it's one, if it's just one big one, I switch through. If that's better, please let me know in the comments, and I can make adjustments accordingly. One thing I also am going to work on is getting timestamps for each stock. So if people click in they're only interested in a certain stock, they can timestamp it, go right to that section, and move on. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I'll be rooting for the Chiefs, even though I think it's never a good idea to bet against Tom Brady. He'll somehow pull something out of his ass and walk away with a victory. So we'll see what happens, see if Mahomes can repeat for the Chiefs. That's it. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.